morning, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very, very beautiful sunny morning in Brisbane. Yeah, it's a great weekend here in Brisbane. So 26 degrees and sunny. So if you're joining in, once again, welcome to our weekend edition where we'll have, first we'll look at the news headlines, and then today's special feature is the Queensland Premier's reception for the Indian community, and we'll look at the key speeches on the night. Well, right now, it's, as I said, great to have your company on here today. So first of all, let's take a very quick look at what's making news on this day.
American rock and roll music pioneer Jerry Lee Lewis has died at his home in Mississippi, aged 87. He was the last survivor of a generation of groundbreaking performers that included Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry and Little Richard. Jerry Lee Lewis was renowned for hits like A Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On and Great Balls of Fire.
An Australian-born woman will spend at least 34 years in prison after being found guilty of killing and decapitating a friend in London. Gemma Mitchell was sentenced for murdering 67-year-old Mi Kuen Chong at her home in June of 2021. Police allege Ms Mitchell created a fake will, leaving her most of the victim's estate.
The husband of US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in hospital following a violent break-in at the couple's San Francisco home. 82-year-old Paul Pelosi suffered blunt force injuries in the early morning attack. His wife wasn't home at the time and the offender is now in custody.
And Australia's T20 Cricket World Cup hopes remain in the balance after last night's blockbuster clash against England at the MCG was washed out. Heavy rain in Melbourne meant the outfield was unplayable. Both teams now need to win their two remaining matches in order to have any hope of progressing.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, the top news for today, the news headlines. Well, right now, as I mentioned before, that we will be bringing to you the coverage of the Queensland Premier's reception for the Indian community and the key speeches. But before that, here's a message which I'd like to share with you all.
TNR Production presents Ek Rangin Sham live in concert with Tarun Ranika and Jimmy Nato along with Brisbane's top singers Diman Roy Dutt and Dr. Neela. MC for night, Brisbane's well-known Manju Jehu. Sound and lighting proudly brought to you by Brisbane's #1 DJ, DJ Desi. We are proudly supported by our media partners, Brisbane's Indian Times and Australia Indian Radio. See you there.
And definitely love to see you all there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now, as I mentioned before, that today we bring to you that coverage. For that, let's go to the Queensland Parliament House and just take a look at the key speeches for that night. First of all, we'll have Minister Leanne Linnard, who will be welcoming everyone and introducing the host of the evening. So let's go right now to the Queensland Parliament House.
Here tonight and acknowledge their contributions to land, sea and community. But before I make any further remarks, I would like to invite to the microphone your host for this evening's reception, our Premier, the Honourable Anastasia Palaszczuk, Premier of Queensland and Minister for the Olympics. Well, good evening, everyone. Can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Can I acknowledge our Cabinet Ministers that are with us here this evening, including the Deputy Premier Stephen Miles, the Treasurer Cameron Dick, Education Minister Grace Grace, Minister Mark Bailey, Attorney General Shannon Fentiman, Minister Mark Ryan, Minister Sterling Hinchcliffe, Minister Mark Furner, Minister Leanne Enoch, Minister Glenn Butcher, Minister Craig Crawford, Minister Megan Scanlon, and of course the Minister for Multicultural Affairs Leanne Linnard, our wonderful MC for this evening. Can I especially acknowledge other members of Parliament and Assistant Ministers. The Speaker of the House is with us here this evening, Curtis Pitt. Can I acknowledge my Director General, Rachel Hunter, Can I acknowledge our wonderful Police Commissioner, Katarina Carroll? Can I also acknowledge other Directors General? Can I acknowledge Mrs. Arachana Singh, the Honorary Consul for India in Queensland? Can I please also acknowledge Dr. Maha Sinnathamby, Patron and Federation of the Indian Communities of Queensland? Mr. Anup Nanuru, President of the Federation of Indian Communities of Queensland? Can I acknowledge other leaders of different communities that are with us here this evening? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, isn't it wonderful to be here at Parliament House for our annual Indian reception, and happy Diwali to everybody here this evening. Can I also take this opportunity to thank the Indian community for this most beautiful sari that has been made especially for this evening.
Looks gorgeous.
Is it okay? Looking forward to having a wonderful group photo with everyone tonight. Well, friends, can I welcome you all to Parliament House? It's the People's House, and it's wonderful to see so many friends here this evening. And we know how important your community is to our state, and how important India is for our state of Queensland when it comes to trade. In fact, we've got the Treasurer and the Minister for Trade here tonight. Last financial year, India was our second largest export market, worth $19.4 billion. That is number 2. Next year, number 1.
Yes.
And in good news, our Treasurer will be travelling to India next year in the first half of the year. So thank you, Treasurer, for putting forward that submission from Trade and Investment Queensland. I know he's very much looking forward to that. But of course, tonight we are here celebrating Diwali, here and around the world, a celebration dating back thousands of years, and each year I'm moved by the Festival of the Light, an affirmation of hope, a commitment of friendship and goodwill, a celebration of life, and about the triumph of good over evil, light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance. And the lighting of the lamps reminds us that Queensland's multicultural diversity is a light that leads to a strong, united community. And we know how important your community is for our state. So many tens of thousands of Indian origin here calling Queensland home. And your community grows from strength to strength. And of course, you are involved in every facet of Queensland's society. And we know that how important family is. Each and every one of us, we want children to have the best start in life, to have a good, decent education. But more than that too, you know that you have a government committed to not only education, but also to healthcare. And I want to thank everybody here for the enormous work you have done over the last 2 years, getting out messages into your community about COVID and how we kept Queensland safe with one of the best records in the whole entire world, and that is a result of communities right across Queensland. And of course, our state is enriched by our wonderful diversity, and I think respect is something that we all have and we all share. So tonight is an opportunity for you to meet with the ministers. I see the Treasurer here, I see the Deputy Premier standing down there. The other ministers are scattered, as well as members of Parliament, and it's your opportunity to go and talk to them. And of course, we're also very excited because the next 10 years is a golden decade for Queensland. Leading up, of course, to that significant event, the Olympics and Paralympic Games, where the eyes of the world will be on Brisbane and Queensland. And our whole state will be transformed like Barcelona was all those years ago, where people want to come here and experience that unique Queensland culture, where we can showcase our state to the world. So, 10 years to go, a lot's going to happen, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you for the contribution you make right across our state. Thank you to your families for everything that you do, and we are very proud Queenslanders all here tonight. Thank you for coming and enjoy the festivities. Thank you. Thank you very much, Premier, for those warm words of welcome, and it is now my pleasure to invite our next speaker, who is well known to you all, Mrs. Archana Singh, Honorary Consul for India in Queensland, a beautiful friend, I know, to everyone here tonight, who does a wonderful, wonderful job representing the community, building relationships and connections between our government and Queensland and your community. And I welcome you, Archana, now to say a few words, please.
Namaste, good evening everyone. It's lovely to see you. I begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and I acknowledge all elders present here this evening. Honourable Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk, Honourable Ministers, Members of Parliament, everyone that has been already acknowledged, and I would also like to acknowledge all the community leaders, all the distinguished guests, elders, and especially Professor Singh, he's here this evening with us. So at the outset, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Premier and the Queensland Government for hosting this reception for the Indian community of Queensland in honour of their many and multifaceted contributions of the people to our wonderful state. And I also acknowledge Minister Leanne Leonard, who is a wonderful, wonderful friend of the Indian community, and she's always there to support us whenever we request her for any help or assistance. The Indian diaspora is an integral and vital part of the Queensland success story, as Premier just pointed out, and their contributions span the entire spectrum of our social, political, economic and cultural activity. As the ECTA between Australia and India gains momentum, the bilateral synergy takes on an unprecedented life force, nurtured by shared values, shared aspirations, and a shared worldview. 2022, friends, has been defined by celebrations in India and abroad for the 75th year of India's independence, also called Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The sheer scale, the joy, the energy and vibrance of these celebrations is indicative of how India and the Indian diaspora are received worldwide, and of the affinity they share with liberal democracies all over the world. It is no wonder that increasingly countries across the world are looking to India for inspiration as a model of multiculturalism, unity in diversity, and secular democracy. People of Indian origin all over the world are increasingly being recognized for their talent and for what they bring to their communities. The most recent and spectacular being Rishi Sunak, the new Prime Minister of the UK. So Queenslanders of Indian origin are a peace-loving, vibrant, colourful, hard-working and fun-loving lot. I'm sure you all know that by now. The various Indian festivals like Holi, Diwali, Onam, Pongal, Durga Puja, Chariot Festival, Baisakhi, to name just a few, are synonymous with a sense of joy, celebration, cultural dialogue and exchange. And when the stresses of our daily lives start to creep up on us, our yoga and Ayurvedic practitioners, classical dancers, Bollywood dancers, musicians, volunteers, social groups bring a sense of wellness, shared community, and a sense of joy to our lives. Indian cuisine, with its many vegetarian and vegan options, along with its many different styles, definitely has pride of place in the domain of variety and spice. And of course, the icing on the cake, the common love of cricket that cements many splendid relationship between India and Australia like only the love of a sport can. The fabric fabric of a strong, vibrant, diverse, and respectful community can only be fashioned and strengthened when people mingle and learn from one another in a spirit of mutual appreciation and respect. I acknowledge the valuable contribution that each one of us here makes to a strong and cohesive Queensland community. Thank you once again, and a happy Diwali, everyone.
Thank you for those beautiful words. You always leave us with a feeling of warmth and welcome. Thank you. Our next speaker, again, will be very well known to you all. I'd like to invite Dr. Maha Sinnathamby, Chairman, Springfield City Group and patron of the Federation of Indian Communities of Queensland, to say a few words. Please, Maha.
Wonderful to be with all of you here today. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the elders past, present and future, and the great contribution they have made to this greatest country on earth. I would like to acknowledge Leanne Linnard for her wonderful work. Of course, our Premier, she's dressed best. Can you give her a loud applause, please? She is going to sell more saris than anybody else. Everybody is going to wear saris from now on. Of course, we got ministers and members of parliament, and of course I can see my treasurer and the deputy treasurer. Archana Singh, the Honourable Consul of India, wonderful to see you here. Anup Nananuru, President of FICQ. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Premier, on behalf of the Indian community, I thank you for your effort and the continued support you have shown year after year to entertain us. And your strong support for this Diwali event. They truly appreciate that comes very close to their heart. Happy Diwali to all of you and everyone here present. Premier, the Indian population currently is around about 51,000 going to 52. In 10 years' time, we predict it will double up and go to 100,000.
Yes.
What also will happen is we'll have the Olympics. And what a time to celebrate 100,000 Indians here, going the good for you all over the world.
Excellent, yeah.
Friends, what binds us as two nations is amazing. I'll give you some facts. We have a shared Commonwealth heritage. India is one of the largest democracies in the world, and its legal system is based on the British legal system, which we all share. It's also one of the largest English-speaking countries in the world, and set to be the world's second largest economy within 5 years. It's moving for us, it's moving, and we've got to move with it. And if it's not moving, we are going to push it to make it happen. What else do you want? How much closer can two countries be? How much more closer can you be? There are tremendous opportunities that are emerging out of all this. Already Queensland's trade, as the Premier has said, is double that of New South Wales and Victoria put together. And this is only the beginning. Our great state of Queensland is about 2/3 the size of India. And India has a population of 1.3 billion. We've only got 5.5 billion. These 5.5 billion people enjoying a tremendous country, unlimited resources, friends. Wonderful climate. Over 1,000 kilometers of beautiful ocean frontage cutting onto the Great Barrier Reef. And all the resources that the world needs very badly. It's all here. It's all here. It's for us to take it. It's for us to exploit it. It's for us to make sure that we use all this energy, that the source of strength that we have to build up this great state. We have a great climate, and we have got everything that goes in favor of us. And we only have 5.5 million people, and we've got to take full advantage of it, friends. What else we need? We don't need anything else. With all this, we know that the Indian population will double up and double up and double up and double up. They will come to us, call Australia their home. All of you, I'm sure, would say you love your home here in Australia. Friends, you all have witnessed that this Indian powerhouse is just going ahead. The last 3 days, where we had witnessed Rishi Sunak grew in a humble way. A 42-year-old Indian like all of us, as a new Prime Minister of UK, the youngest Prime Minister for the last 200 years, is one of us. Now we've got to repeat that. We can repeat it many, many more times in very many different ways. Rishi has shown us the way. At the age of 42, coming from a humble background, she has changed the politics of the United Kingdom. Well, we've got to learn out of this, friends, and show the Premier and the Treasurer that we can all do better to enhance this great state of ours to a much, much greater state. It's all in your hands. It is possible. Just say to yourself, a 42-year-old come from a humble origin has shown he can be the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. There's nothing to stop you from being whatever you want to be in this country. As I'm finishing off, I'll say this. As Gandhi said, be the change you want the world to be. Ask Professor Singh. As Gandhi said, you be the change that you want this world to be. So please help your Premier and the Treasurer to make this a great state. They would love it. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Maha. There is no prouder patron, I think, than you. And thank you for those beautiful words. Something you said that always reminds me of a comment that the Premier often makes too when we have these special ceremonies, and that is that you should aspire to be anything. And in Queensland, you can aspire to be anything. And they're beautiful words, so I support that call to action. Now I'd like to invite our last speaker, our incoming president of FICQ, Anup. Please come speak to us. Please give him a warm welcome.
I don't think I would be able to match any one of those speakers there, but I'll just do what I can try something. Diwali, the festival of lights, the victory over evil. Happy Diwali, good evening all. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we meet today, pay my respects to past, present and emerging. and also pay my special respects to Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk, Honorable Minister Lian Linar, and all the team who worked hard tirelessly to get this event together. The event with this magnitude and the time it has been organized is enormous. Thank you very much. I thank all the ministers who are here, all the community leaders, the advisor, Honorably Archana ji, have joined to make this a great event. As you all know, Diwali originates from the word Sanskrit called Di and Vali, which is Diwali. It means row of lights. Most importantly, this event represents the triumph of light over darkness. Additionally, it shows the knowledge and good have triumphed over ignorance and evil. During Diwali, there are bright lights displayed throughout the entire nation. As you know, now in new Diwali will be holiday for New York public schools starting next year. So looks like that's a public school starting Diwali next year. So it's a hint for us, I guess. It is the time for us to light the lamp of hope, love and compassion in the hearts of our family, our friends, our community, our city, our country and the world at large. It pays to reflect and recognize our good fortunes to be able to call this multicultural land as our home now. What a generous and beautiful land we find ourselves celebrating Diwali in. As we all know, Diwali is now widely celebrated in Queensland, all over Australia and all over the world now. Australia is the second largest migrant community in Australia, with India being the largest source of skilled migrants in the year 2021. Per the Department of Home Affairs, according to 2021 census, 670,352 people living in Australia reported India as their origin of birth, an increase of 220,000 or 47.9% since the previous census in 2016. And those 10.7 live in Queensland. In addition of the 976,000 people that responded with an Indian-related ancestry, the top two religious affiliations of people of India related ancestries were Hinduism and Sikhism. FICQ being the peak umbrella body of all Indian associations and the Indian diaspora in Queensland since 1997, FICQ is very much committed to the well-being of the community, aid in development of harmonious multicultural society and build stronger bilateral relationships between Australia and India. FICQ has taken many projects on board, supporting communities during COVID, wellness and well-being, community sports, student engagement, supporting and promoting wider community engagements. In conclusion, I wish you all the very best tonight. I'm looking forward to the celebration ahead tomorrow at King George Square. Once again, I thank Premier and all the ministers and all the people who arrived here and all the distinguished guests for continued support for building stronger multicultural Queensland and hosting this event. And I quickly wanted to present Premier. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a special coverage of Australian Indian Radio for the Queensland Premier's reception for the Indian community. And right now, the Premier and our Multicultural Minister are being honoured with Souls of Honour. And of course, as I mentioned before, there was a great turnout at this function. Mrs. Archana Singh ji is being honoured there as well. It is wonderful to see that everyone is being honoured. Well, right now, Minister Lian Linar.
And I will keep it brief because I know that you are looking forward to the purpose of you being here, and that is celebrating. So if I may make these brief concluding remarks and just warmly thank our Premier for holding this special event every year. You are so warmly welcomed here. This is quickly become one of Queensland's biggest and most celebrated cultural events, and you can see why, not only with the colour and the celebration, the sense of celebration, the music and the dance that we will soon have. I can see our dancers are ready, but also because of the deep meaning that Diwali brings, and of course the message that light overcomes evil is a message that we all need. We all need it around the world, and I thank you so warmly for bringing that message here, for sharing it with every Queenslander, and for coming and bringing that message to this place, Parliament. We thank you, and I seem to finish as I started by welcoming you and saying Namaste, Sat Sri Akal Ji. I apologise if I've said that very badly, but I did want to also include that for my beautiful Northside community at Banyo, who introduced me to Diwali 11 years ago and have graciously welcomed me, as you all have, as your Multicultural Affairs Minister. So with those words, may I thank our speakers. Thank you, Anup. Thank you, Maha. Thank you, beautiful Archana. And can I thank warmly our Premier, Anastasia, who loves this event. And can I say, when we had rain earlier, and someone said to the Premier, we'll have to pack up the chairs and go inside. The Premier said, no, the rain will stop. Nothing gets in the way of celebrating Diwali. Premier, you were right. So the Premier, an extraordinary woman, has also made sure that the weather was beautiful for you tonight. Thank you, Premier. And we will have a wonderful celebration. But firstly, we are going to have a group photo. So we're going to quickly, if you stay where you are, I think we're going to have this amazing team to my right. They're swooping in with some chairs, and if you could all get your smiling photo faces ready. Our photographer, I think, our amazing photographers are there ready. If you don't mind, we'll come down, we'll have a group photo, and then we are going to have a wonderful presentation from Dance Masala, who is ready, I can see over there. And then, of course, we will mingle.
And ladies and gentlemen, of course, we know that how long the photographic session takes. Everyone loves getting their photos done with the Premier. And why won't you when you've got the opportunity and when you are right there? And it is just so wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now, here's that message once again that the event we supported.
TNR Production presents Ek Rangin Sham live in concert with Tarun Raniga and Jimmy Nato along with Brisbane stock singers Divan Roy Dutt and Dr. Neela, MC for night Brisbane's well-known Manju Jehu. Sound and lighting proudly brought to you by Brisbane's #1 DJ, DJ Desi. We are proudly supported by our media partners, Brisbane's Indian Times and Australia Indian Radio. See you there.
And we are proud to be supporting that event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now let's take a look at some other events taking place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for you, and it's wonderful to have your company today here on the weekend edition of Australian Indian Radios and Brisbane Indian Times coverage, brought to you via Chentex Multimedia Streaming Services. And I hope that you've enjoyed today's special presentation of the Queensland Premier's reception for the Indian community, and also looking at so many different functions and events that would be taking place right here in Brisbane. Well, until Monday, it's goodbye from us. Remain safe, and please do attend and support as many community organizations as you can. Until Monday, it's goodbye from us.